Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. This is the first day of the MultiVersus early access period and going on into the open beta. And well, I figured I'd give you a little showcase of what the Iron Giant is all about. One, because he's an all new character. He was not in the previous builds of the game. And two, he's the biggest character in the game by a lot. And if you know anything about this channel, I like the big characters. Like, look at this. He's like 3 times the size of Shaggy, and that's amazing. So I figured, okay, he's the big boy, so let's show you what the big boy is all about. He has some pretty interesting rules in this game. So first up, just some of his basic attacks. He has a bunch of unique mechanics, but we'll save that for a bit later on. Some of his basic attacks here, like this is his neutral special, and this is an armor breaking move, by the way. And his neutral special, he just takes a big old bite and has a chance to drop some scrap, which you can pick up, eat, and gives you bolts, and we'll go over bolts in a minute here. So in and of itself, it's fine. Also, it is a chargeable attack, and if you charge it, well, you know, more damage, more knockback, all that fun stuff, right? Now, his side attack, he kind of pounds the crap out of a car. So it's just easy at self combos. In the earlier builds of the games, some multi-hitting moves did not self combo, so this one definitely does, which is great. And when you're done, you can hit the button again, and you do basically a big old butt slam follow-up. Now, you better make sure it connects. Only do it if you hit confirm into the hits, because if you whiff and do it, it just has so much recovery, and there's nothing you can do, as far as I can tell, to cancel the recovery, other than just sort of wait it out. But if you have the hits, it's basically more guaranteed damage, and it does a decent chunk as well. His down normal attack, well, he plants some scrap, which he can eat and get more bolts. And yes, of course, naturally, it has a hitbox. And just so you know its in-game name, if you're not aware of the old Iron Giant memes, well, it's art. His up attack, it just flings a big old projectile. Now, the one thing to note here is that projectile is also scrap, which you can eat. And I know we keep talking about the scrap and the eating. We'll get to it in a second here. Now, one of the things about this is you can also charge it. Now, one of the unique things, at least compared to some of the other characters, is just proper projectiles are somewhat rare in this game. And if they are there, they're on like a limited resource. Like, if you do it, you're on a bit of a cooldown before you can do your next one. For most characters, Iron Giant can just spam this willy-nilly. Now, granted, since he's so tall, it has quite an arc to it. You're not hitting anyone remotely close to you. You actually have to use it as a proper long-range projectile, but still very interesting. Now, his jumping normal attacks. First, we have jump neutral, which is just basically a big spin kick. And yes, it does hit all sides of him. So if you're just looking for, you know, just something nice and safe that'll definitely work, it will work. And also, you can charge the move to get more hits out of it. And then a multi-hit combo by itself. His down special, well, geez Louise, look at that. Just burn you up with his boots, and actually applies a flame debuff, which will do damage over time as well. His side special is a big old drop kick. Now, one thing to note, if you do it fairly low to the ground, it'll still whiff most characters. You actually kind of have to do fast fall first before it can connect. Now, the thing about this is you actually don't want to hit the edge of the boot. The thing is, it's a multi-hitting move. So doing it closer to the enemy is better. If you are trying to hit at the absolute edge of the boot, you kind of have to fast fall and connect with it, which isn't as ideal, although, you know, better than nothing. But yeah, the real magic of the move is the fact that it gets multiple hits along the way. So this is like just quick, get off me and go from there. And also you can just start tossing projectiles, catch them in the air, or you can go for his air up special, which is, well, Superman. So he rises up and it's just one big active hitbox, hits everything above him pretty well. It's pretty handy, especially after his neutral special. Just very easy combo follow-up from there. Now, one thing here, now we'll get into one of the mechanics. He has his basically fuel mechanic. So the Superman, as long as you got fuel, you can keep going up and up and up and up. To the point here, and the yellow meter is your fuel meter. You can go all the way up and just KO yourself, right? Multiple moves have the fuel meter. So the basis is this. He cannot double jump. His double jump, well, it's just straight up flight. So his mobility compared to most characters, despite his wild size, is actually much better, right? But he is governed. So if you run dry on the fuel, well, then you're kind of SOL, right? Especially because a lot of the moves use fuel. Like that jump charge neutral attack here, that uses fuel. His drop kick uses fuel. A lot of his moves, especially in the air, use fuel. And also his special moves as well. A lot of them use fuel as well. So it's a very powerful resource for sure, but it is one you have to govern, because if you run out of it and you're like near the edge or something, like that's kind of all she wrote. Like you're done. You need this to keep going. So expend it while you can, yes, but also watch out because you might die without it. Okay, now let's talk the bolt mechanic here. So once again here, lots of moves can plant like a little metal scrap for you to eat, and it gives you 1 bolt every time you do it. And there's multiple ways to do it. Like you can plant it, you can toss it as a projectile, no matter what, just as long as you get them. You can store up to 5 maximum. And what's the big deal here? Your neutral special move is basically a shield, and the shield is better depending on how many bolts you have. So if you have, say, the maximum of 5 bolts, it'll get a good deal better yet. As you can see now, just 5 bolts are around him. And what is this? Well, it's armor. And not only is it armor, it's like super duper armor. So as you see here, basically as many bolts as you have, you can just freely laugh off attacks. So if we get a couple bolts in here, and you can see Shaggy's just going nuts attacking, right? Get a couple bolts in here, and now we activate our shield, right? And you can just kind of laugh it off, right? Now, it doesn't last forever. It will go away over time, but it's basically just hyper armor shield. And also, this shield is immune to moves that do armor break. Armor break breaks regular armor, but this is the Iron Giant. This isn't some normal character, right? So his move here, the nuts and bolts, the shield you get from it, is immune to armor break moves, and that's fantastic. So you can walk forward very confident that you'll get off whatever you're going to get, and nothing's going to stop you. Now, of course, naturally, he has other specials as well. His side special is basically a command grab. Now, this game's a bit different than other platform fighters. There's no active blocking mechanic. The best way to not get hit is to not be in the way in this game, right? And you do have an invincible dodge everyone can do, although it's less invincible the more you spam it. But still, regardless, it looks like a command grab. It's technically a hit, but it satisfies the grappler part of my brain. And once it's up, you can walk around the enemy. Like, they will automatically drop after time, but you get basically a single free hit in, right? If you do stuff like the projectile toss, it will toss them up in the air. And if they're about 100 damage, it's basically an automatic ring out. So that's really good. Sadly, though, the thing you want to do of like walking off the edge, and that's really not going to happen for the most part, right? So you can't do the thing you want, but still, if you nail it, free hit, let's go. Also to note, if you jump, it will let go of the enemy. But if you're quick, you can basically get some guaranteed hits in, and then just kind of go for whatever combos from there. So it's just nice to have. Down special. It's a big old butt stomp. Now, when you're on the ground, you basically can aim a little, like, where do you want to be, right? And the character will do his best to do it. On stages with ledges, though, it's a bit more difficult. But if you hold down the whole time, you'll bypass the ledge and still get your attack. So just keep that in mind. And giant hitbox, giant butt slam. His down special in the air is much the same, just you don't get the like little aiming reticule. So you just want to slam into people, good especially in tag matches, right? Where you have multiple players. This seems strong there just because you'll probably hit something, right? That's all that really matters. Up special is he just twirls a big old car around. And it will use just a little bit of your jet fuel if you do the jumping version. But you know, it's a recovery move, so that makes sense, right? But yeah, just big 360. After the initial hit, he will try to aim it downwards if you're like walking, just so it's easier to hit the smaller characters, of which literally every character other than you is smaller. As you can see, I'm having a little difficulty hitting Shaggy. That's what happens when you're big, I guess. That's the big boy problem. Now in the air, so down special is the butt stomp once again, and up special is still the car toss. And neutral special is still your damage shield. The big difference here is side special. So side special is giant shoulder charge. And this is also based off your fuel resource. The thing is, you can hold it as long as you have fuel to burn. So basically, if you pick a rough lane of height and you know people are going to be in the way, this might as well be an unblockable. The thing is, though, the hitbox is not as big as it looks. So against certain characters that are smaller, which is everyone but you, it can be a little bit more difficult to hit, but regardless, as long as they're roughly in the way, you'll definitely get hit. Just how much fuel are you willing to burn? Some other fun things, if the enemy hits you, they bounce off you like you're the wall, basically. I don't know how much is going to matter too much in real matches, but it is kind of cool that you're effectively just a secondary wall. The enemy will bounce off you while you're just on the field. That's kind of cool. I dig that quite a lot. Just to really show how big he is, I guess, that he is the wall himself. Also, when he's clinging on the side, he actually counts as a platform and people can land on his shoulders. So we'll see how much that actually matters once again, but the fact that he's so big he changes the rules of the game, I'm just a really big fan of that. And finally, the big one is the rage mechanic. So it works in two ways. Whenever the Iron Giant deals damage, he will gain some rage. And also whenever your teammates take damage, you will also gain some rage then. So just in and of itself, if you're just like in, say, a solo fight, it does take a hot minute to charge up. But the rewards of getting the rage mode off are pretty substantial. So once you have the rage mode up, it says protect friends. And then, well, it's time to get real. How real? Well, yeah, I think that's a good idea right off the bat, right? So when you are in the rage mode, all your moves change. So like this is a normal attack. This is your side attack, laser beams. The rocket barrages, that's up attack. Down attack is a big stomp. Forward special is like this big death ray ball. That's really crazy. Death ray can also be charged a little bit. Down special becomes like just little targeted little zaps that you can aim around, like the old butt stomp. Just, he's terrifying. Like, he's very scary. Now, as you can see, it doesn't last a very long time, right? Because you're effectively a boss mode version of the character. So it's fair enough that it can't last forever, but it's definitely something you want to aim for. It's a very impressive aspect of the character. And this is just a quick look at the Iron Giant and everything he can do. I think he's a fascinating character. I've been looking forward to playing him for quite some time. I think he's very fun. And I'm sure there'll be like a lot of nuance and tech to be discovered over time. This is like day one, a couple hours in. So in the future, if you know all the sick stuff, please let everyone know, because I just like the big characters and I'm glad this game has a big character and apparently more coming. So look forward to that. What form could it take? Who knows? But I'm looking forward to it. Anyways, my friends, that is the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some MultiVersus.